How to set up and install your Google Nest Doorbell, Wired. We'll show you how to set up and install your Google Nest Doorbell Wired in just a few simple steps. First, you'll check that the doorbell chime you already have works with the Nest Doorbell. Then you'll set up the Nest Doorbell in the Google Home app. Install the chime connector puck, and then install the Nest Doorbell. The Google Nest Doorbell, Wired, is designed to work with low-voltage doorbell wiring. If you're replacing an existing doorbell, use our compatibility checker to verify that your current doorbell wiring is compatible before you install it. You may need to replace your existing doorbell transformer, especially if you live in an older home. Google Nest Doorbell, Wired, requires a transformer of 16 to 24 VAC, 10 to 40 VA. If you are using a wired chime, your chime needs to be rated for the same voltage as your transformer. Check to see if your existing transformer meets these specifications before you start installation. Look around your house. Transformers are typically installed near the main electrical panel, inside the doorbell's chime box, in the garage, utility room, or attic. If you're unable to locate your existing doorbell transformer, or if you need to install a new one, you can contact a Nest Pro or qualified professional to help with installation. After you've verified that the doorbell wiring is compatible, you'll follow the steps in the app to install the chime connector puck inside your chime box. Then you'll take the Nest Doorbell outside and install it. Once the Nest Doorbell is connected and power is turned on, the doorbell conducts its own internal system check to make sure it's sufficiently powered. If it is, the status light will appear blue. If it's not, the status light will blink yellow, which means your doorbell may not have enough power to stream video. Contact a Nest Pro or qualified professional to help with installation. Everything you need to set up your Nest Doorbell Wired is included in the box. You may also need a pencil, a No. 2 Phillips screwdriver, a power drill, a 3/32 inch or 2 mm drill bit, a 1/4 inch or 6 mm masonry bit, a rubber mallet or hammer, and a ladder if your chime is mounted in a high location. Make sure you have a Google account set up and the Google Home app installed. Go to accounts.google.com to set up an account. Then download the Google Home app from the Google Play or the Apple App Store. Add the Nest Doorbell Wired to the Google Home app. When prompted, you'll scan the QR code on the back of your doorbell. The QR code is also printed on the front of the Quick Start Guide. The app will now guide you through installation. Here are some important steps to note. If you have an existing chime, you will need to install the chime connector puck to make sure the doorbell works properly. If you don't install the chime connector, it could damage the Nest Doorbell. Go to your home's breaker box and turn off the power to your doorbell and chime. This protects you and your equipment. Try ringing your doorbell, if you already have one installed, to make sure the power is turned off. Now remove the cover of your doorbell's chime. Take a picture of the chime's wires so you can reference it during installation. If you previously installed a chime connector, you'll need to remove it and use the one provided in the box with your Nest Doorbell. The chime connector puck is required to make sure the doorbell works properly. If you don't install the chime connector, it could damage the Nest Doorbell. Follow the steps in the app to select how many wires are connected to your chime. Most doorbell chimes only have 2 wires, but yours may have more. Tell the app which wires you're replacing. Look for the labels on the terminals where the wires are attached. Labels are usually on the terminal connectors or next to them. They can also be found on the inside of the chime cover. Now, select the location of the doorbell you're replacing. The app will show you where to connect the chime connector wires so you connect them correctly. Follow the steps in the app to connect the chime connector wires. The wire colors are not important, but where they're connected is. Let's walk through a simple wiring example to replace a front doorbell with the Google Nest Doorbell Wired. Remember, because chime wiring varies so much, you'll need to follow what the app tells you to see the correct wiring instructions for your chime. You can also contact a Nest Pro or local professional to help with installation. In this basic example, loosen the front and trans chime terminal screws where you see the wires attached. Make sure to keep these wires in place. Take the chime connector puck included in the box and hook each wire clockwise around the front and trans terminal screws. Tighten the terminal screws, then gently pull on the wires to make sure they're securely in place. If the terminals are not labeled, loosen the 2 screws where you see wires attached and make sure to keep these wires in place. Follow the same steps in the basic example to install the chime connector. Once you've finished wiring, find a place for the other end of the chime connector. If there's room, you can place it inside the chime box. Make sure the connector doesn't touch the chime or any moving parts, or your chime may not work properly. You can also attach the connector to the outside of your chime cover. Just remove the adhesive backing. Now you're ready to install your Nest doorbell. You'll install the base plate and then attach the doorbell. If you're replacing an existing doorbell, once you disconnect the wires, make sure to bend or tape the wires so they don't slip back into the wall. You also want to make sure the location you chose has a 1-inch or 2.5 centimeter space above the doorbell. This is the space that you need to use the hex key when you secure the doorbell to the base plate. Now check the doorbell camera angle. If you want to change it, use the wedge provided. It can help position the camera to capture the area you'd like to view. Position the base plate on the wall with the tab at the top, pointing towards you, and mark the screw holes. Make sure the wire hole is below or near the center of the largest opening on the base plate. If it's not, it can prevent your doorbell from locking onto the wall plate and working properly. If you're using the wedge, you'll attach it to the wall first and mark the screw holes for the wedge instead. If the wall is uneven, use the spacers provided to help make the surface level. The spacers need to be mounted horizontally. With the tab on top, feed the wires through the base plate and attach the base plate to the wall with the long wall screws provided. If you need to, drill a pilot hole using a 3/32 or 2 mm drill bit. Be careful to not over-tighten. For hard surfaces like stucco or brick, use the included wall anchors to attach the base plate or wedge to the wall. Drill a hole for each anchor using a 1/4 inch or 6 mm masonry bit. Then, gently tap in the anchors with a rubber mallet or hammer. If you're using the wedge, feed the wires through the hole in the base plate and the wedge. Then use the long wall screws to attach them both to the wall. Use the wire connectors provided to wire your doorbell. It will help avoid an electrical short. It doesn't matter which wire goes into each connector. Straighten the wire ends if needed and trim them so there's no more than a 1/2 inch or 12 mm of exposed wire before inserting them into the connector. Now use a Phillips screwdriver to connect the wires to the doorbell. Push the wires into the wall, making sure the wires are positioned down, towards the bottom of the doorbell. Now attach the doorbell to the base plate. Align the doorbell to the holes in the top and bottom of the base plate, making sure the camera is at the top and the button is at the bottom. Push the doorbell in, then down until you feel it lock into place. Tighten the hex security screw with the included hex key to secure the doorbell to the base plate. The screw should sit flush with the top of the doorbell. Make sure to not over-tighten. Test the doorbell to make sure it's securely mounted. If you ever need to remove the doorbell, loosen the hex security screw with the hex key, making sure to keep the screw attached to the doorbell. Then slide the doorbell up and off the base plate. Keep the hex key in a safe place in case you need it. If you misplace it, you can use a 3/32 or 2.5 mm hex key. Now turn the power back on. Your Nest doorbell will turn on and the status light on the camera will appear blue. If the status light blinks yellow, your doorbell may not be getting enough power to stream video. Contact an electrician or Nest Pro to increase the voltage. For now, your Nest doorbell will work as a standard doorbell. Now follow the steps in the Google Home app to finish setting up your doorbell. You'll connect your doorbell to Wi-Fi and then select its location. You should now see live video. When your doorbell is recording or monitoring activity, the status light is green. When the light is blinking green, a home member is viewing the live video stream. If you're using an existing chime, follow the steps in the app to set the chime duration if you have a digital chime. When you turn on visitor announcements, you can use Google Assistant-enabled devices like speakers and displays, sold separately, to announce when someone is at your door. If you have Nest Aware, sold separately, you can even announce visitors by name with familiar faces. When you can't get to the door or you're away from home, use quick responses to respond to someone, like, "Just a sec, we'll be right there," or, "Hi there, you can just leave it, thanks." To set it up, select the language you'd like to use. Your Nest Doorbell comes with 3 hours of event video history, so you can go back and see a recording of what happened. If you want more video history, try Nest Aware free for 30 days. A Nest Aware subscription, sold separately, comes with 30 days of event video history. Nest Aware Plus comes with 60 days of event video history and 10 days of 24/7 continuous video history. To learn more, visit the Google Help Center.